Hello, welcome to Gen Z Finance. I'm an older Gen Z here on YouTube documenting my financial journey. So in today's video, as you can see from the title here, I will be reviewing my 2020 goals, what I was able to accomplish this year, and then I will also reveal my financial goals for 2021 and some of my longer term goals as well. Before we start, I just wanted to say I know 2020 has been a hard year for many people, and I don't want to rub any salt in the wound when I'm going over my real numbers. I'm simply trying to honestly share the going-ons of my personal financial story, particularly focusing on what I was able to accomplish in 2020. And a little bit of a spoiler, 2020 was a really big year for me in a lot of ways, so I just wanted to put that disclaimer out there now. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm only going to focus on my financial or money related goals for this video, none of my personal or any other goals. And then at the end of 2019, I set goals for 2020 as well as some more general goals that I wanted to hit by 2030. That would be the year that I turn 32. I'm also of the belief that it's totally fine to adjust, remove, or add goals as the year goes on and your life changes. I definitely did a lot of that in 2020, and I'm sure many of you guys did as well. So let's look at where I was only 1 year ago at the end of 2019. In December of 2019, I was only 1 year out from college. I still had $11,000 in student loans, although I had paid off already $17,000 of student loans in 2019 alone. I was making $15.50 an hour, working 40 hours a week. I had no dollars invested, and most importantly, like I think most people in the world, I had no idea what the heck a coronavirus was, did not even know that was a word. So this is where I was money-wise when I set the following goals. My first goal was to get or negotiate at least a 5% raise or cost of living adjustment, pay off my student loans, max out my IRA, and contribute 5% to my 401k. And then as you can see on the right, I actually achieved all of these. I hit a lot of these goals pretty early on, and my progress really sped up once I got that new job at the end of March, beginning of April of 2020, which you can see increased my base salary by almost 90%. And because of that big income increase, that made me rethink some of my goals. So at some point during Q2 of 2020, I added these 4 new goals: contribute at least 25% to retirement total, help out my mom and dad more financially, have $10,000 in retirement accounts, and a net worth of $30,000 by the end of 2020. And as you can see here, I met all of those. In fact, I have even met and surpassed my stretch goals for my retirement and net worth targets as well. As I mentioned earlier, I also set some goals for 2030 at the end of 2019. So I broke those goals into these 4 general categories: living a debt-free or debt minimal life, saving for retirement, basic ways that I want to spend my money, and a yearly salary/income goal. A lot of them aren't that specific because it's really hard for me to imagine what my life is going to look like in 2 years or 5 years, let alone 10 years, but I did the best I could at the time. I'll talk a bit more about these goals later when I revisit them, but a lot of these now seem almost too easy based on where my life is now, but where I was at the end of 2019, a lot of these felt like almost impossible. So that just goes to show you how much can change in 1 year. So here are my goals for 2021. So starting at the top left, my first hard target goal is to have total yearly spending of $15,000 or less. So in 2019 and 2020, I spent $10,000 a year roughly, so I am inflating my lifestyle quite a bit, but $15,000 is still a very small amount, especially with my current income of $60,000. Next, moving over to my savings and investing goals. So my main goal is to invest $30,000, which is exactly 50% of my gross pay. I've talked about this in previous videos, so I'll link some of those up above. My third goal is to decide what my definition of a savings rate is and track that every single month. Leave me a comment down below on how you track your savings rate. What income and expenses do you include in it? Does savings for sinking funds count as spending or savings for that month if you don't actually spend from the sinking fund that month? Let me know what your thought process on monthly savings rates are. By the end of the year, I want the percentage of my total net worth that is in cash to be less than 35%, Right now it's right at like 50%. 50% of my net worth is in cash and 50% is invested. So I definitely want more of my net worth to be invested just because that money is going to be working harder for me than anything I have in cash. I also notated some income goals. So the first income goal I have is to bring in at least $2,000 a month. Now, again, if you follow any of my budgeting videos, you would probably know that I net around $2,500 a month from my full-time job. So the reason I have this as a goal is after 2020 and seeing just how many people's jobs were affected by the pandemic, I realized that it's not always within someone's control if they have a job or not. But what I can do in case I do lose that job is try to find some other way to bring in some income. So that is why my goal is to bring in at least $2,000 a month. If I keep my full-time job and keep my part-time job as it is, I will easily reach that goal every single month. But if something were to happen midway through the year and I lost an income source, I at least have this benchmark where I have to hustle and find a way, take other jobs, even if I hate them, to make up that $2,000 a month. My second income goal is to get monetized on YouTube. I'm about halfway there. I have about half of the subscribers and a little bit more than half of the watch hours I need. As long as I keep doing what I'm doing, I will reach that goal in 2021. And then my fourth category, financial decisions. This year I'm going to work on creating a gameplay or starting to plan on when and how I might be moving out of my mom's house. Right now I don't have any plans and there's not like a set date or anything, and I actually really enjoy living at home and my mom likes having me at home, believe it or not. But I do want to have a goal date in mind to move out, even if that is, I think it's important to give myself a set date that I have to be moved out by. So I'm just gonna spend some time figuring out what that date is. And then the second and third goals under this category is just to find ways to make my money work for me, whether that's bank bonuses, like I'm trying out a bank bonus right now, using affiliate links to kind of get some extra income, referrals for different products, and then finding ways to really maximize cashback, whether that's with credit cards or with cashback apps. I haven't really dabbled into any of that, and I really want to try to broaden my knowledge and look into those types of programs so again, I will reevaluate and check in on my progress towards these goals often. Honestly, I view 2021 as more of a stepping stone than anything else. It's a stepping stone towards my much more exciting and main goal for 2022, which is to, drumroll please, have a $100,000 net worth by the end of 2022, aka have $100,000 at 25, which is how old I would be by the end of 2022. So my overall game plan for this is shown here. So you can see here at the end of 2020, I think I'm going to have a net worth of around $40,000. This is being filmed at the beginning of December, so I don't have the exact number yet. But going into 2021, where I will invest, again, $30,000, hopefully get a raise for my job around July, amount unknown, and then save another $10,000 in cash as well. So my net worth should be around $80,000, if not more, leading into 2022. So I turned 25 in May, said I should be close to hitting that by May, but if the 5 months of the year is not enough, or if something crazy happens again like in 2020 where the market dives down in March, I have the rest of the year to kind of get up to that net worth of $100,000. And so then my stretch goal for 2022 would be to either have $100,000 total invested, which would be different from just $100,000 net worth because I would have $100,000 in assets currently invested and actively growing, and or a $125,000 overall as my general net worth. So that's kind of the game plan and the way that I can see that I could be getting there. Honestly, I think a lot of it just depends on how the market does in 2021, and I think by about mid-year 2021 I'll have a much better sense of if I can move my timeline up at all or if I need to readjust anymore. And then here are just some of the big considerations that could impact any of my income, expenses, or goals over the next 2 years. I don't expect many of these things to be too big of a factor. If anything, some of these things might actually help me meet my goals quicker. But we will move forward to my outlook for 2030. So I have them broken into two categories. The ones that have pretty much stayed the same are on the left. These are all the goals that I had for 2030 when I first created my 2030 financial goals at the end of 2019. So that includes an 800 plus credit score, being able to give more generously financially to my mom and dad. I would have liked to have taken an international vacation or two, so hopefully travel is a thing that comes back. And then if wanting to own a home, because I'm still actually not sure if I do want a home, I have either bought the home already or saved the down payment. I'm targeting a down payment of 10 to 20%. And then over here on the right, you can see all of my new goals. So these are newly added goals or goals that I've changed my targets for. So that includes having $350,000 in retirement accounts. And then the stretch goal of that would be a $500,000 net worth in total. I would like to have an established financial independence number that I can realistically work towards and rely on, because I've talked about this in the past, but right now, for a multitude of reasons, I don't actually have a FIRE number, even though I consider myself working towards financial independence. I would have liked to already hit Coast FI, and if you're not sure what that is, I will leave links down below, and I'll probably be doing a separate video more on Coast FI. I increased my salary goal from $75,000 that I had listed previously to $100,000, just because I believe I'm on that track to a six-figure income now. You can see I've added a goal about netting an extra $1,000 a month in side hustle or passive income. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is just some suggestions I have for you when making goals. I like to make my goals difficulty diversified, so set goals that you will hit easily. For example, I should easily be able to hit the $2,000 a month in income. Some goals that will take work, but you expect to still be able to hit. For me, that would be my goal to spend $15,000 or less for the entire year. Based on my previous spending and everything I expect coming up in the next year, I should be able to hit that, but it will still be something that I'm going to need to check in on constantly and make sure I'm not throwing myself off target. And then stretch goals or best case scenarios. So in this case, that would be the $95,000 to $100,000 net worth stretch goal I have for 2021. The second suggestion is to check in often. I like to check in on my goals monthly, quarterly, and then particularly at the mid-year mark. I always like to ask myself, how will this decision to either spend, save, or this decision to go do something impact my ability to reach my goals? And that's an easy way that you can check in with your goals, daily, weekly, whenever something comes up. And then my third suggestion is to celebrate mini wins along the way and be open to achieving different goals than expected. So just because you did not list a certain goal or milestone at the beginning of the year doesn't mean that when you hit that goal or milestone, you should not celebrate that as an accomplishment in and of itself. And I'm actually going to be making a video on 15 money-related milestones that I think everyone should look forward to one day achieving. So be on the lookout for that video and make sure you're subscribed down below, because that might be a fun way to get some ideas on some money wins that you might not have necessarily thought about before. So that wraps up this video. I just wanted to take some time to plug my channel here at the end. So on this channel, like I said, I document my financial journey. I post bi-weekly paycheck budgets using YNAB or You Need a Budget. I also post monthly budget reviews and net worth updates so that I can, again, consistently check in on my goals and where I'm at. And then I'm also posting videos on my investing, savings, and journey to FI. If any of that sounds interesting, again, make sure you subscribe down below. You can follow me on Instagram at @ZNEOFinance, where I post more about my daily life. I hope you liked this video, and like I said, again, leave me some comments down below about what your goals for 2021 are and how your goals for 2020 went. Hope you all are staying safe and healthy.